Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about everything we know about the second episode of Season 8, supported with trailers, teasers, promotional photos and previews. 99% of everything I said in the Season 8 Episode 1 leaked scenes video came true, and I'm quite certain most of the things you hear in this video will happen exactly, so if you don't want to get potentially spoiled, it's time for you to close this video. Let's start with Jaime's trial, new promotional photo with armed guards behind him. Many wonder how this meeting will end for Jaime, having in mind that Bran, a kid he tried to kill, and Dany, a woman he also tried to kill, and kill her father, are the ones who will decide his fate here. It does look bad for Jaime, as he's done some serious crimes against both House Stark and House Targaryen. We also know that these worried faces of Brienne and Davos that we got from promotional photos belong to this scene. Brienne is worried for how Dany Targaryen and Bran Stark will react. Dany says to Jaime, "When I was a child, my brother Viserys would tell me a bedtime story about the man who killed our father, about all the things we would do to that man." Doesn't look good for Jaime at all. Right when she says all the things we would do to that man, Jaime looks to his left and in shock. So it's understandable that the first thought you get is Jaime being sentenced or something like that, and it's okay because the teaser was made to make us think that. However, as I said in my preview breakdown, Jaime is not looking at Dany passing him the sentence, or anything like that, because if he was, he'd look in front of him, not to his left, right. The person on his left is Bran Stark. Jaime is not shocked about his punishment, but rather about what's Bran got to say about his past. As a matter of fact, after Dany says to Jaime the story of how she and her brother Viserys used to imagine how they punished the man who killed her father, I believe Dany will also say, "But I was wrong," basically revealing that she knows why Jaime killed her father and it was not a crime. Tyrion told Dany why Jaime killed her father in the 9th episode of the 6th season. Tyrion revealed to the Dragon Queen that the only reason his brother Jaime killed her father was because the Mad King wanted to burn the city to the ground along with its population. So Dany already knows the truth behind Jaime's so-called betrayal over her father, and will definitely not want to punish him for that. Even she herself admitted her father was an evil man back in Season 7 when meeting Jon Snow. What actually happens here is Jaime being shocked at all the information from his past Bran is throwing at him. Bran will most likely provide more backstory about Jaime and the Mad King, after Dany says to Jaime that she understands why he did what he did and it was the right choice. Jaime's like, "How do you know all that?" Bran will also forgive Jaime for pushing him out the window, because he's not Bran Stark anymore, he is the Three-Eyed Raven. During the trial, Brienne will likely speak for Jaime, vouching for his good intentions as this photo seems to be hinting. Tyrion and Brienne will be proud that Jaime has honored his pledge, while Dany and Sansa will be a bit suspicious about his intentions upon finding out that Cersei betrayed them, which they will find out from Jaime. They will ask him why did he come to Winterfell when his beloved sister and lover is obviously not going to help them, and why should they even trust him? That's when Jaime's line from the official trailer will come out. He will reply with, "I promise to fight for the living and I intend to keep that promise." In other teasers, we also hear Jaime saying this goes beyond loyalty, this is about survival. After this trial, Jaime will be accepted as an ally, and will be given a Northern armor. Tyrion and Jaime will later have a conversation. From the new episode 2 photos, we see Tyrion, and if you look closely you can also notice the hilt of Jaime's Valyrian steel sword Widow's Veil. Now we know what's going on in this photo of Jaime in the Stark armor from a few months back. He's having a chat with his brother, just before the dead arrive and the battle for Winterfell begins. The room behind Tyrion looks similar to the room that Dany, Jon and their crews are discussing their battle plans in the new photos. Our planning meeting beside Dany and Jon will also include Varys, Sam and Arya, all of which are confirmed to be there by the photos. I think there will be many more characters than we see in photos on this meeting, including the Lannister brothers, Sansa and Bran Stark, Jorah Davos and probably Theon Greyjoy as well, who should arrive at Winterfell at this point. This is my favorite of the bunch. Jon and Arya look to be making plans for defense of Winterfell with others. If you look closely on the right side of Arya, you'd notice Sam's hand. This meeting is happening probably when Jon gives his "They are coming, our enemy doesn't tire, doesn't stop, doesn't feel" speech. Sam looks as he feels more concerned for Jon than usual. The defenders of Winterfell are preparing for the big attack from the Night King. This shot from the trailer where Arya is holding her new weapon is also from episode 2. Arya's weapon is finished, and she has a conversation with Gendry where she says, "I know death, it's got many faces, I look forward to seeing this one." Next we know for certain is happening in episode 2 is a scene in the crypts between Jon and Dany. We have actually known for a few months about this scene, and we also know what they will talk about, as well as how it ends. A few months back it was revealed that episode 2 will see the return of the Crypts of Winterfell, which was filmed on its long-standing location at Shane's castle. It was also reported there will be a scene between two leading cast members in the Crypts, and they'll discuss Ned Stark's death in this particular scene. So it's basically something similar to what we already saw in Season 7, when Sansa and Arya discussed Ned's death as well as his statue. Now we know for certain that it will be Jon and Dany discussing Ned Stark. This means that at this point Dany probably knows Jon's true lineage, and they are discussing why Ned had to lie to Jon. I believe they will also discuss their relationship as well. There's also a high possibility that in episode 2 Dany will learn she's pregnant, and she might share the news with Jon. In episode 2 preview we see worried faces of Jorah, Varys and Tyrion as Dany walks by them and probably enters someone's chambers. Where is Dany going? I think it could be to Maester Vulcan after she's been sick, and that's when she finds out she's pregnant. From other Season 8 teasers we know that Jorah will soon after enter those chambers to see Dany, and she does seem a bit upset. Perhaps she does learn she's pregnant, and she doesn't know how to feel because father of her child is her nephew, or perhaps Maester tells her she cannot possibly survive another childbirth. Many possibilities here, but I believe Dany might reveal to Jon she's pregnant. Anyways, the scene is also set to end when they hear a horn being blown. As you know, in the Night's Watch a horn is blown to warn of someone approaching, either Rangers returning, wildlings at the gates or White Walkers. We are not sure what the horn means in this scene, but there's definitely someone approaching Winterfell, either reinforcements such as Admiral Tully with his Riverland forces or White Walkers, depends on when this scene takes place. If it takes place towards the end of episode, which I doubt, then it's the arrival of the Night King. If it takes place in the beginning or in the middle of an episode, which I personally think it does, then it's the reinforcements that are coming. In the very beginning of episode 2, Tormund, Beric and Ed will arrive with men that survived Fall of the Wall. Jon asks him how long do we have, Tormund replies with before the sun comes up tomorrow. They know the Night King and his army will be upon them soon, and they are preparing their stand at Winterfell. Many shots of the preparations for the war. Although episode 1 was an episode of reunions, episode 2 still holds some reunions. Here we can see Lyanna Mormont, decked out in an armor, in preparation for the incoming White Walker attack on Winterfell. Behind her we see soldiers from Bear Island. What happens in this scene is most likely a reunion between Lyanna and Jorah Mormont. We know how harsh Lady Mormont is, and we know that Jorah brought great shame upon his house in the past, so I'm not sure how will this reunion play out. Jorah was stripped of his lordship upon being caught selling poachers into slavery, which he did to afford funding his wife's expensive tastes. This reunion is definitely going to be interesting. We'll also see Bran Stark beside the Weirwood tree, and here he's probably having visions of past, present and future events. We know an actor who's playing Rhaegar Targaryen was back for filming scenes in Season 8, so we know for a fact Bran will see more visions involving Rhaegar, although I cannot guarantee it will be in this vision, and in this episode. After the preparations for the battle are done, and when all there's left is for the Night King and his army of the dead to attack, the living will have a few moments of peace and quiet to sit around fire, eat and perhaps say farewell, as many will not survive the battle for Winterfell. Sansa and Jon will have a conversation at dinner, and they will probably talk about how they are still family, no matter he is not her actual sibling, but rather a cousin. Fun fact, this dinner will be prepared by Davos Seaworth. The next thing we know is taking place in episode 2 is the meeting between the Lady of Winterfell and the Dragon Queen in the library at Winterfell. She's sporting a new coat and looks thoughtful. Dany says to her you never should have trusted Cersei, and Sansa replies with you never should have either. Sansa implies to Dany trusting Cersei on her word she sent her armies north was not smart. However, the good news is that the rivalry between these two will probably stop in episode 2, as there's a promotional photo from this same scene in which we can see Dany smiling. What episode 2 basically is preparing for battle for Winterfell against the Night King, and the dead will arrive at the very end of the episode, while the entire third episode will be about an actual battle for Winterfell, where many will die. Winterfell is preparing for the upcoming war with soldiers forming up and blacksmiths forging dragonless weapons and defenses in full. Not only will everyone build dragonless weapons, but all the defenses will be made out of dragonless as well, including defenses on the walls. This will come handy when the dead start climbing the walls. Arya trains with bow and arrow to possibly be able to kill the White Walkers from afar. We know killing White Walkers is of a huge importance in winning this war, because if you kill one White Walker, all the whites he is raised from death also fall with him. This is the reason White Walkers probably will not fight on the front lines, but Arya might use her second weapon of choice to deal with that problem. Arrows will have dragonless points. Jorah gets Heartsbane, Sam's Valyrian steel sword. This I already predicted would happen since Sam is not a great fighter and probably will not be on the first line, so his good friend Jorah would probably be better to use it. Then we have a few shots you've already seen in the official trailer. Jorah commands Dany's forces outside Winterfell. They will not be the only forces who will face the Night King outside, there are also the Unsullied and the Knights of the Vale. Here we have Jon on the left, Sam on the right and probably Theon Greyjoy in the middle. Remember that upon rescuing Yara, Theon was granted permission by his queen to go for Winterfell and help the Starks defend it, so I think he's arrived and this is him. Davos and Tyrion Lannister will be on the walls of Winterfell as well, as they all wait for the Night King to attack. Davos and Tyrion will be commanding archers. Episode 2 will end exactly how the official trailer ends, with the Night King's arrival at the doorstep of Winterfell, with the living armies ready and lined up for the battle. Okay guys, that will be everything we know about the Season 8 Episode 2, supported with all the trailers, teasers, previews and a few spoilers. How do you like the second episode of the final season, and what do you think will also take place? Please make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.